From the College of Mass Communications on the campus of Texas Tech University, this is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of your MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Evonne Hamburg.
And I'm Matt Roberts. The Hub City has a new tourist attraction. The Texas Tech Museum has a new exhibit, and Brittany Nunn has more.
The Museum of Texas Tech University is hosting a traveling exhibit called Deadly Medicine: Creating the Master Race, which explores the history and effects of eugenics. The exhibit was originally created by the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. It opened in Lubbock on February 20th and will run until August. The exhibit contains objects, photographs, documents, and historical film footage taken from European and American collections. Eileen Johnson, the executive director of the Museum of Texas Tech, said having the exhibit here speaks well of the museum, the university, and the community.
Although it is an historical perspective, it makes a very powerful statement on issues that are current.
The exhibit had a soft opening of about 90 people on the first day because the event was not widely publicized. But officials say, although some were shocked, the response was mostly positive. Lynn Falwell, the woman responsible for bringing the exhibit to Lubbock, said the intent of the exhibit is not to impart an agenda beyond developing an awareness of eugenics in history.
I think it's going to open dialogue, and it will hopefully bring out people from across the spectrum with ideas and bring them into conversation with each other.
She said they hope to raise moral and ethical questions about medical practices and about how humans treat other humans. Reporting for MCTV News, I'm Brittany Nunn.
As the school year winds down, student government prepares for new executive officers. Here's Landon Martin with the story.
Student Government Association elections are quickly approaching here at Texas Tech. Students realize the importance of voting because the decisions that are made directly affect the student body.
If you're going to be a Texas Tech student, then you should care who's going to run, what they're going to run for, what they're going to push for you.
Most recently, SGA members traveled to Austin to talk to representatives, hoping to lessen the effects of the upcoming budget cuts for higher education.
If you think about that, the average student walking around doesn't realize these officers, particularly the president, is talking to Board of Regents members, talking to the chancellor, talking to the president, talking to other senior members of the university, talking to the folks that are involved in decision making.
For the past month, candidates have participated in debates and several public meetings. Their goal is to inform the student body of all that they want to accomplish in the coming year.
I think students really need to take it seriously and really look at the candidates, study the candidate debate, get on their Facebooks, look at what they're trying to do, and really make a decision on that based on what you want to see done.
Issues that are going to be addressed this election include the expansion to nearly 40,000 students by 2020, the impact of state budget cuts, and student fee increases.
I'd like to see this SGA administration invest a lot of time and a lot of their efforts into streamlining the transportation system here. I'm someone who rides the bus every day, and I'd like to see better efficiency from that.
Transportation is always on the agenda, but there's one thing that current SGA President Drew Graham wants everyone to keep thinking about.
But I do think something that should always be looked at because it affects every student is the cost of education and making sure that students enjoy their time here at Texas Tech.
Students are able to vote online at sga.ttu.edu March 1st and 2nd. Reporting for MCTV, I'm Landon Martin.
While the university prepares for statewide budget cuts, Tech offers students financial advice. Red to Black offers services ranging from budget planning to exploring employment benefit packages to help students now and later on.
I encourage students to be proactive and not reactive, right? If you feel that you are potentially, going to 6 months down the line, you're feeling that you're going to be running out of your student loans, well, how about once you get your student loans, let's set a budget for the rest of the semester.
Students looking for jobs after graduation have a great tool available on campus. University Career Services helps prepare Tech students for the real world. Students who take advantage of the on-campus job fairs are exposed to a variety of jobs in their field.
It goes all the way from government programs like the USDA and NRCS to cattle companies to sprinkler systems to wheat and grain companies. so it's a really good mix.
By attending University Career Services events, students are able to find out about services they otherwise wouldn't know about.
You know, there's so many times that I hear from students, oh, I came to this because I was required for a class to come, and I'm so glad I came because there's so much that I thought I knew that I didn't really know, or there's things I learned today that I didn't even know existed.
Spring break is 1 week away, and Tech students are getting fired up about getting out of Lubbock. However, rising gas prices are affecting the cost of hitting the road. Michael Sullivan has more.
As spring break approaches, Texas Tech students hitting the road to escape Lubbock will have to deal with rising gas prices. According to AAA Texas, the average gas price of unleaded gasoline in Texas rose 9 cents this week and now sits at $3.08 per gallon, which is below the national average of $3.23 per gallon. We ran into many Tech students filling up at local gas stations earlier this week, all of whom were upset about the sudden jump in gas prices due to the instability in the Middle East. Tyler McGinnis, a junior business major at Tech, said he tries to drive away from campus gas stations to find cheaper fuel prices, and the increase in gas prices has led him to make some changes to his spring break plans.
Gas prices have really gone up. It's really a shame. My plans for spring break have changed quite a bit. I was going to Colorado, but now I think I'm just going to go back to Dallas or possibly go to Austin, but definitely can't afford to make a 16-hour drive, especially with gas prices like this.
McGinnis is not the only Tech student that is upset that their spring break money is being thrown into their gas tanks. Matt Smyers, who is traveling across country, is concerned that the rise in gas prices will affect his spring break budget once he reaches his final destination.
I'm driving to Las Vegas for spring break. It's a long 13-hour drive, so it's definitely going to take a toll on my budget given the rising gas prices.
Whether driving cross-country or across the state, it's safe to say that all college students on the road are making adjustments due to the recent increase in fuel prices. For MCTV, I'm Michael Sullivan.
Spring means more than just a break from school. It's also time for some spring football. Matt has more on changes the Red Raiders have made on the defensive side of the ball.
When Tommy Tuberville was hired in 2010, a large majority of the Texas Tech fan base was concerned about Tuberville changing the offense. But after one season, Texas Tech was ranked near the top of the country in many offensive categories, while the defense was nowhere to be seen. In 2010, Tech ranked 114th out of 120 teams in total defense. After a rocky first season carried into an offseason that included the departure of former defensive coordinator James Willis, Tech was sent looking for its third defensive coordinator in 3 years. That is where they found Chad Glasgow. Glasgow was a former player at Oklahoma State and spent 10 seasons as the safeties coach at TCU before coming to Texas Tech. Glasgow is known for his intensity and excitability, so much so that head coach Tommy Tuberville isn't sure how he makes it through an entire practice.
He's got to be struggling here for long. I mean, it's just 2 hours of screaming. I used to do a lot of that, but I kind of got over it, But I guess he's trying to make a point.
Glasgow brings a defensive package that allows for 4 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs as its base formation. Defensive lineman Donald Langley enjoys playing in the new defense because it reinforces what Glasgow preaches.
3-man front, it's 3 against 5 most of the time, with the linebacker blitzing in. But now, you got more one-on-one, and Coach Glasgow's philosophy really is win the one-on-one. So it's just every position, 11 on 11, you win that one-on-one battle, you be successful.
Glasgow was an integral part of TCU's #1 ranked defense last year, and his defense has held that title 5 times over his 10-year stint. Texas Tech safety Terrence Bullitt works directly with Glasgow on a daily basis and says you can't take his yelling personally.
He's going to coach us for perfection every day. He can't take it personal. It's just coaching.
Despite Glasgow's intense demeanor on the field, Keelan Hubert has had some fun with Glasgow off the field.
When I first met him, we was playing cards, playing some spades, and he was acting all nice. We got to the field. He showed me when it was business.
With MCTV, I'm Matt Roberts. From the gridiron to the skating rink, one local roller derby team has its sights set on a successful season. Edmund Rostron has the details.
The wheels were spinning inside the Southwest Sportsplex on Thursday. Lubbock's all-female roller derby team, the West Texas Roller Dolls, has been preparing for the upcoming season every Tuesday and Thursday night. Team president Christina Johnson says a team roster consists of 14 people, although only 5 are in the rink at one time. The goal of each bout is to have 4 blockers on each team try to keep the jammer from breaking through the pack. She says each opposing player that the jammer passes equals a point.
You're pretty much playing offense and defense at the same time.
Your team is to keep their jammer from scoring. At the same time, you're trying to get your jammer through the pack to be able to score points.
One of the better known aspects of roller derby is the fact that the players are basically allowed to hit each other. Emily Bell, who goes by Imbo Slice during bouts, says although hitting is allowed, there are some rules behind it.
A lot of people have the idea that we can just full on hit each other and just elbows and punch each other and hit each other in the backs, but we can't do that. We have legal hitting zones, which consist of your sides and your chest and your booty.
Because the hitting aspect is so prominent in roller derby, it's not hard to believe that the sport is riddled with injuries. Bell says the fear of being injured is always in the back of a player's mind, but the stress relief that the sport provides has players coming back for more.
And how to say this in a nice way, I love hitting people, and it's just such a great stress relief. I'm coming off of an injury. I spent 3.5 months on crutches from a broken foot due to roller derby, and when that stress relief was taken away from me, I didn't know what to do.
The West Texas Roller Dolls' next bout is on March 19th against the Oklahoma Victory Dolls. For more information, you can visit their website at www.westtexasrollerdolls.com. Reporting for MCTV, I'm Edmund Rostran.
That's all the time we have for today. I'm Evonne Hamburg.
And I'm Matt Roberts. Have a great week.